Hello and welcome back to Starcraft 1. In this episode, we'll be continuing on the Zerg campaign with The Culling, 1 hour after the Dark Templar.
Eradicate every last remnant of the Gunblood.
The gasp!
It is a pity that servants cannot truly be killed. I expect that the Overmind will reincarnate him soon.
No, he will not.
More gasp!
Protoss have devised some new attack. An attack powerful enough to nullify our reincarnation and give pause to the Overmind itself.
So, Tacitus' plan was merely a diversion. I should not have underestimated him so.
Without its master, Zas's food has run amok, and even now threatens the Hive Cluster. Cerebrate, you must eradicate the
Why do I have to do it?
any further damage it might cause.
Because he's gonna deal with the Protoss himself.
Myself.
See, he's gonna roll over them or something. Or bounce on them like the bouncing balls from Futurama.
Alright, so, this mission. We don't start off with a base in this mission. This could be a big problem.
Because if you lose all your units, then you die.
Yep.
And you're getting pretty rocked right now. Alright.
Well, we're not getting pretty rocked, to be perfectly honest. We are winning, but we're just mostly winning, as opposed to completely winning.
Alright, so there's a new sheriff in town, and he says, fuck you. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching.
There we go. And now my aerial units are in the way.
Waiting to load solution. Please wait. Loading solution complete. New problem detected. Loading solution.
Yeah, I do know it is possible to lose the map during that fight. I'm pretty sure I have done it exactly once, where I've lost the map during that fight.
And then Gerdat swore in the name of God that on blood oath that he would never succumb to such defeat ever again.
Well, probably not under blood oath, but under normal oath, yeah. Anyway, this mission is actually relatively interesting because politically what we're doing here is we're putting down, you know, an old ally of ours. And mostly because that old ally isn't really here.
And we get Ultras finally. Sadly.
Sadly, Ultras suck.
With an emphasis on suck.
The big problem that Ultralisks have is although they're very good at melee tank, at the one job that they're designed for, that is literally the only thing that they do. They have a lot of HP, they do a lot of melee damage, and they cover up a lot of ground, but they can't shoot up, and they can't deal, and they don't actually have the cleave effect that they would in StarCraft 2. So, without that cleave effect, they don't actually deal great against the swarms of units like they're supposed to.
Yeah, well, can't melee attackers only attack one target at a time?
In this game, in StarCraft 2, on the other hand, I don't think the roaches get cleave, but Ultralisks actually do. Ultralisks certainly get cleave.
I remember there's a cleaver among the Zerg. I never liked those cleavers. They kind of just come up like great tanks and just pincer the crap out of you.
Out of your Marines specifically, they don't do that well against the mech side of Terran, but they will slaughter bio.
And I remember that's how Terran thwarts those creatures, is because they can only attack creatures on the ground.
So Terran can just build battle cruisers and say, ha 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 ha.
Ha ha. Gotcha. Hatch. Hatch, my minions.
Now, we should be doing a jump cut relatively shortly here, because I don't think I show off all of the base building for our primary base. The thing is, there's not really enough resources at this point, at this base, in order to do what all that we want to do. because I do want to show off Ultralisks, but because Ultralisks cost, I think it's 400 and 200 apiece, you need another Vestbane in order to really show off how effective a swarm of Ultralisks can be. But Ultralisks also cost 6 units of Psi, so again, they're not really worth it. Or is it 4? I think it's 4 units of Psi, actually. Also, spawning pools take forever to build. I think you will find that spawning build is the slowest spawning Zerg unit, the slowest spawning Zerg building.
Hydras. Probably Hydra Muchas. For the rest of our lives.
For the rest of the campaign. The thing is, the Hydra Muta is pretty much the only option that Zerg actually have, and it's a problem that StarCraft 1 as a total has. Because your offensive unit pool is so very limited, you pretty much only have one or two dedicated strategies that work. For Zerg, it's either Muta Guardian or Hydra Muta. For Terran, it's either Marine or Marine Tank or Battle Cruiser, and Protoss just die.
Protoss says, don't bother.
Pretty much. I mean, if you're very skilled with the casters in Protoss, you can do Archons, but Archons take so goddamn long to actually get a sizable force of, and take up so much Vestbane, that you have to be pretty far ahead on the board in order for Archons to be efficient. Whereas the other strategy that supposedly works with Protoss is Zealot Rush, but that's pretty much just a weaker Zergling Rush. I have gotten Zealot Rush to work against the AI, but pretty much just against the AI. I've never gotten it to work against players.
Man, fuck other players.
I actually like playing StarCraft 1 against other people, but only when I'm either Terran or Protoss. I am just that goddamn terrible at Zerg. And it got to the point where my friends would not play against me if I was playing as Terran. They just said, "No, we're not doing this."
We know your game.
Yeah, all Gerdat's gonna do is just build battle cruisers in 20 minutes, send a fleet of 12 of them at us, and then what are we supposed to do?
You just watch and behold the glory of the fleet. I tell you what, though, this is something we could probably do later on, that in total slow motion, so that there's no rebuttal whatsoever, that I had the absolute best chance that you would completely destroy me with an army of battlecruisers, but it would take about 20 minutes.
25. I'm not fast enough at StarCraft 1 in order to get a decent battlecruiser production up until about 15. And because you wanted to play on the slowest speed, it would take me, about half an hour to actually, fully get that up.
And then a half hour later, I'll be going, this one, and then an army of battlecruisers comes in and wipes me out. So here comes the gods' justice.
I mean, we said for the longest time that we were gonna do some StarCraft 2 stuff, but we still haven't done that because you lost your goddamn BattleNet info.
I mean, I can get it back. I mean, it's mostly because I suck at it. I'm terrible at this game because when I get overwhelmed and flustered, this is a game about making quick decisions based on sound judgment and reasoning. Now, if you're overwhelmed because your opponent keeps throwing skirmish after skirmish at you, then you're gonna be off kilter for pretty much the whole fight. And that's usually how every match with StarCraft for me goes. Is that I start losing, I start panicking, and then I lose completely.
Okay, as it turns out, Past Gerdat was partially lying to us. He forgot that we don't get Ultras till next mission. This mission we get Defilers, and Defilers are actually the Zerg signature spellcaster unit. They have some really, really nice spells that I do not know how to use.
You're the fire of this place.
I purify this house so filthy creatures can't use the cheap black magic.
So I guess we don't do a base cut. All right. Oh no, we did a base cut.
Oh,
Okay.
we're just sitting down having coffee at the development cafe. Makes all kinds of squishy sounds.
Yes.
Sounds like they're making... Oh, egg salad!
I do not enjoy egg salad.
Egg salad makes me wonder how old it is, which is another way of saying that, like, it's very selective.
And there go
Egg
my
salad.
mutas ignoring what I told them to do.
Oh, what? Those are enemies, Zerg?
Yeah, the Garm
What
Brood.
the fuck? What the fuck is... Oh, the Garm Brood. Right. They have evolved from the Overmind.
Well, they've not devolved per se, but they've, they have gone on a rampage. Because, because with Zaz dead, the Garm Brood no longer has anyone watching over it.
Right, so this is the Agent Smith of the Matrix. The program Smith has gone out of control. We must destroy the Garm Brood.
And so our Hydralisks have been slain. It is sad for us.
Damn it.
Here, have more
Oh.
Hydralisks.
Have more Hydralisks. I have plenty.
Well,
you
no,
should
actually.
retreat.
Why?
Because if as long as they don't die, then they're still alive and they regenerate.
Yeah, but they regenerated about 1 HP every 5 seconds, even on creep.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you could keep them in reserve.
Cloud, I don't play this game with reserve in mind.
And I barely play this game at all.
I build a unified attack force that's got one objective of mine, and then I have them go to that objective. If I fail, I lose. I play this game a lot like I play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. I mean, it works. My buddy used to bring in the freaking Fleet of Doom, and he did it because it worked. So let this be a lesson that in games you should probably just concentrate on something that works.
Yeah.
Instead of this abstract idea we call victory.
Defending this particular point is actually really difficult, though, because
I'll say
the rampaging brood, despite it being on a rampage, actually still dedicates small attack forces to this area pretty frequently. But if you can hold this, it makes a much better staging ground than your initial base.
Right, okay, so now that you've repelled the resistance, it's time to save your game and dig in. And
One
in
of
the
the
next
things that
part,
I really should have done is built a spire at my main base so I could start pumping on Mutalisks as scouts, because that's what I end up needing to do at the very end of the game.
well, just like there's more than one way to skin a cat, there's more than one way to win Starcraft.
Unless you're Zergs, then you just send Zerglings at everything.